In the Gospel reading today, we see the people bringing a deaf man who also had a speech impediment to Jesus. And Jesus cures the man to the surprise of all. Jesus had been preaching and working miracles for a while, and so the people trusted him, although they weren't quite sure who he was. Although we may think that we know who Jesus is, do we really know? As we will read from the Gospel next week, some of these people thought he was John the Baptist, others Elijah, still others one of the prophets. We now know they didn't have it right, but they still had enough faith to convince Jesus to work miracles for them. Is our faith that strong? Do we really acknowledge with our faith and our lives that Jesus is the Son of God? Now, the point of the miracles, as well as showing his mercy, was to strengthen the faith of the people after they had heard the message. Through both the message and the miracles, Jesus gradually reveals to the people who he really is, starting with the apostles. Do we hear the message, or are we spiritually deaf sometimes? Do we listen to the words of Jesus, or do we choose to rather trust the serpent like Eve in the first reading? Very often we know in our hearts what God is telling us. We know what he's asking from us, but we choose to be deaf to his voice in our conscience. Let us try to identify what moments or in what aspects of our lives we are deaf to the teachings of Jesus. Let us ask the Holy Spirit to make us humble, so that we can beg the Lord, like these people did, to lay his hands on us and open our ears. Let us also ask him to give us his gift of fortitude, so that we can come out of our comfort zone to do as he tells us. Although we are capable of witnessing to the truth of the gospel and teach others about the Lord who saves us, we sometimes seem to have a speech impediment. Only God can help us have the courage to open our hearts and listen to his words, which constantly challenge us out of our comfort zones. And only with his grace can we overcome our speech impediment to announce the good news. Ultimately, our hope is that we can really come to acknowledge with our lives that Jesus is the Son of God. When that day comes, the more we are told not to tell anyone, the more zealous we will be to proclaim God's love for us.